Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another ranking video. So recently on this channel, I've ranked the NHL team names. I've done the PWHL team names. I've done the NFL team names, just ranked them all. And this time I want to rank the NBA team names. Now, just like the other videos, I'm only ranking the team name, not the logos, not their jerseys or any other kind of visual branding. I just want to rank the team names. Now, the reason why I like to rank team names before even ranking logos, which I haven't done yet except for the PWHL, because the team name is actually more important than the logo. If you recall in the NHL, the Utah Hockey Club, they said they want to get it right, not because of the logo or anything, because of the team name. It's so easy to change the logos down the road, but it's so hard to change a team name. Those are stuck forever, usually. Now, I know with the NFL, the Redskins had to change their name to the Commanders. In baseball, the Cleveland Indians, they changed it to the Guardians. In hockey, they've shortened names, like say the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, they just changed it to Anaheim Ducks. But small alterations, and for a certain reason, they had to change names. I know that in baseball, the Devil Rays, they changed it to the Rays. But again, they just shortened the name. Although in the NBA, I believe the Washington Bullets, they changed their name to the Washington Wizards. Let's see here. The New Orleans Hornets, then they changed their name to the Pelicans. And I know that the current Charlotte Hornets, they were originally the Charlotte Bobcats, and then they got the rights. It's a whole story. It's a different story. Anyways, so yeah, that's why I want to rank the team names here. Now, this one I will say it was a little hard because a lot of times these team names are they were relocated and then they don't change their names, so it's kind of hard to like rank them based on the location. They like to focus on the history, I guess, of the franchise altogether. Oh, and before I do anything, I just want to give credit to sportslogos.net. I got all of my logos from that website, and most of the time I use them for reference, but a lot of times I'll get my logos through Wikipedia. But this one, I did everything through sportslogos.net, and I believe they also have a YouTube channel, so check them out. In number 30, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I'm going to say this again. I'm not judging the team logo. I'm just judging the names only, and because I do like their logo, actually. But here, the Cavaliers, I had no idea what it was. It's actually hard for me to even pronounce sometimes. I always messed it up. And you know, like they I know it's short for they like to go by Cavs sometimes as for short, but like if it's a hard name to pronounce, if I don't even understand what it means, I have to look it up. And I think it means kings, but I don't even remember it that much. It's not like, say, the Boston Bruins, where you know it's a bear after looking it up and you remember it. So that's why I put it in last. Next, I have the Portland Trail Blazers. Here's the thing with that name, the Trail Blazers. For me, the term trail, it comes from trailing, as in you're like behind someone. And yeah, you are zipping through it, but trail blazers, it sounds too long. And it's I also think of trail mix, so that's why it's in second last place. Next, we have the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, this team originally were the Buffalo Braves, and then they relocated to San Diego, then changed their names to the Clippers. Now, San Diego Clippers makes more sense than Los Angeles Clippers, but even just the name Clippers alone, I don't know what that was. Like, as a kid, I didn't understand. I was thinking of nail clippers, paper clip, hair clippers. Like, it's not something that you can easily know. Like, you have to like ask what that means. And again, that's why I don't like the name. Indiana Pacers. Again, just similar to Trail Blazers, Pacers, you're pacing. It doesn't sound right. It seems I mean, it is original, but it doesn't sound right. Like, I don't know, just Pacers. You're pacing yourself. Means like you're going slow and steady. At least that's how I interpret it. Los Angeles Lakers. I believe they were Detroit Gem or something like that. Then they relocated to Minneapolis and became the Minneapolis Lakers, which made sense. And when they moved to LA, they never rebranded. So that's kind of why it's down here. It's just, it doesn't make sense for the city. It's iconic. I'm not saying, hey, they need to change their name. It's just the reason why it's this low. Brooklyn Nets. It's such a odd name, like the Nets. Like, yeah, I get it. We throw it into a basketball that has the basketball hoop that has nets, but like, why don't you call yourself the Brooklyn Hoops then? Like, wouldn't that sound more catchy? Atlanta Hawks. It's not a bad name, but it's so generic. It's kind of like when I said Chicago Bears is very generic. Detroit Lions is very generic. Atlanta Hawks, like I like teams that have something with the Hawk, like the Seattle Seahawks, the Chicago Blackhawks. This is just generic Atlanta Hawks. It's not a bad name, but that's why I put it where it is. Utah Jazz. It's again a relocated team name. Like they were the New Orleans Jazz, then relocated to Utah, never changed. In a perfect world, the current New Orleans would be called the Jazz, and Utah would be called. Well, I'll say it here. They should be called the Utah Raptors, but that would have been better for them. But unfortunately, that's just how it is. It's not a bad name, but it just doesn't make sense for Utah. Sacramento Kings. I think they were. Trying to remember. I think they were the Kansas City Kings, right? I think they were originally called the Royals in Omaha, I think. And then when they relocated to Kansas City, they were called the Kings. I say these from memory. I don't really remember everything, but just from memory. So because of the Kansas City Royals, they had to change their name to the Kansas City Kings, and then they relocated to Sacramento. But all that was after the current LA Kings in the NHL. So two California teams called the Kings. In fact, they're using the purple branding, and LA Kings has used purple also. It's just, they should have just changed their name. It's not a bad name, but again, it's not original. Golden State Warriors. It's kind of funny when I was doing this that I realized that, hey, all 4 California teams are not original. They were all relocated because I believe the Golden State Warriors were originally the Philadelphia Warriors. This is technically the only controversial name, although I don't think it's controversial, but people have mentioned, Golden State Warriors comes from Native American. I think Warriors is pretty generic. I think of the Ultimate Warrior, really. Or any type of warrior, like the Road Warriors. I watch wrestling. I do wrestling videos also. But yeah, it's an okay name. It's just a relocate. It's not original to the city. Like, it's just something that comes from another relocation that never changed their name. But yeah, it's so interesting that California. It's technically the San Diego Clippers were original because they didn't become the San Diego Braves from Buffalo. New York Knicks. I believe the term is called. Originally, they were the New York Knickerbockers. I don't know. I'll put it on the screen. It's whatever. It's like, it's middle of the road for me, I guess. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Denver Nuggets. Originally this was going to be way lower, but after the other team names, I kept moving it on up. It's not so much that I hate the name. I just feel like that name is too baseball, if that makes sense. It's too cute. And I feel like baseball always used like kind of these, cute names, I guess, for their teams. Like you have the Colorado Avalanche, the Colorado Rockies, the Denver Broncos, and then the Denver Nuggets. Like I'm thinking of chicken nuggets. I think down there they call it nuggets sometimes. The Golden Nugget. The name makes sense. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it seems odd. Memphis Grizzlies. Okay, this is another relocated team name. I do like the team. I like the name Grizzlies, but I like it more for Vancouver. So they were the Vancouver Grizzlies, relocated to Memphis, became the Memphis Grizzlies. This one I did brush up on a little bit. I wanted to read something. It said that the reason why they didn't change the name, apparently the locals liked the name because there was a football team called the Memphis Grizzlies. Little history lesson. They were originally the Toronto Northmen in football, and then they went to Memphis, became the Memphis Southmen, according to Wikipedia at least. And the locals didn't like that, so they became the Memphis Grizzlies. And then now we have a basketball team called that. Milwaukee Bucks. At this point, I do like the rest of these. Like, I just made a list. But I feel like it feels like a baseball feels kind of like a baseball team name, Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think of money though when I see this. I don't think of the animal, the creature, or anything. So, but other than that, it's okay. Chicago Bulls. Now, this team I grew up watching, not because of locally. I'm actually a Toronto Raptors fan. But, Michael Jordan was like the biggest star. He was like the Wayne Gretzky of basketball. Or, I mean, I'm sure it pissed off some basketball fans here. But, yeah, so like I grew up on this. So this was, the logo is very special to me. Although I always think of the Laughing Cow logo. But the Chicago Bulls, although it feels like I mentioned baseball plenty of times, but this one, a team name like that, it sounds more for football, because like Bulls, you're ramming into something like like the bull, right? So it's a good name. I think it would have been better for football, not basketball. Boston Celtics. It's whatever. It's good, but it's the only negative thing I don't like about the team name is that. I know it's supposed to be Boston Celtics, but at first when I read it, I thought it was Celtics because I've heard people pronounce that word as Celtics, not Celtics. So going back to wrestling, like Sheamus, he refers to himself as the Celtic Warrior. So that's just the only negative thing I don't like about that team name. San Antonio Spurs. I actually had no idea what that name meant. I knew what it was after, like, I don't know, it was explained because I know Cowboys or something have it on their heels, the Spurs. It's, again, it's very middle of the road for me. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Oklahoma City Thunder. It's a great name. I like it. One thing I want to say, though, I don't like that team. Now, nothing against Oklahoma City. Nothing against that team in general. It's just that they were from the Seattle Supersonics. And fun little trivia that my first basketball game ever was a Toronto Raptors game at the Sky Dome, which is now called the Rogers Center, which is kind of weird because it's not an arena, it's a stadium. And it was against the Seattle Supersonics. So Seattle Supersonics have a special place in my heart. But it's a good name. Oklahoma City Thunder is a good name. Dallas Mavericks. Now, I actually looked up when this team was created and when Top Gun was created because I feel like the name Mavericks has been overused a lot, but this came out way before that, so I give it a pass. Yeah, it's good. Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's good. It's just, part of the list. It's just where it is. Love their branding though. Hated their original logo, but love their current logo. Yeah, it's all good. Toronto Raptors. Now, I struggled with this. I wanted to put this as lower as possible, but the more I was making this list, the more I kept pushing it up, and I figured, okay, you know what? I'm putting it where it is right now in the top 10, but here's the thing. I do think Utah would have been better off with that name, and Toronto could have had something more related to the city. This has nothing to do with Toronto. I believe the Jurassic Park movie came out, and the Raptors, everything, the dinosaur thing was all popular. So it has nothing to do with the city. Now and a few years ago I would have said this would be way last, and I bring the Huskies back. I miss the Toronto Huskies, but I don't miss them. I never saw them play, but I think it was a good name. But when you look at omit the S, but look at the TOR in Raptors, for Toronto, and that's the only reason why I kind of like the name more now than I did a few years ago when I realized, oh wait, TOR is in the name. So that's the only reason why I put it where it is. It's a great name. I still think Utah would have been better off with that name, but hey, it is what it is. Phoenix Suns. It's such a simple name, and I do want to rank the WNBA soon because there's a team called, what are they called? Connecticut Suns. So I do want to rank because my ranking will be completely different on that one. But I do like it as Phoenix Suns. Charlotte Hornets. Now, as a kid, the original Charlotte Hornets, not the current one, we loved that logo. That a lot of kids would wear merchandise like hats of the Charlotte Hornets and even say, yeah, I don't really like the team, but I love their name and logo. And yeah, it's a great name. I guess Utah could have also had that name too. Now, I did a lot of videos on the Utah Hockey Club team name, so that's why I bring Utah a lot. Yeah, it's a great name, great branding, great logo, everything. Houston Rockets. It's a great name. It's, got that space theme with Houston. So great branding, great logo. Yeah, it's good. Nothing bad to say about it. Miami Heat makes a lot of sense. It's a simple name, but it makes sense to the city. And that's what I like. I like something that's short to the point, not a long name like Cavaliers or whatever the hell. Cavaliers, whatever. See, if you can't pronounce it, it's not a good name. Philadelphia 76ers. Now, if you watch my NFL team name ranking video, I was talking about the San Francisco 49ers, and I said I always like it when a team uses that one team in the league uses a number as their name, like, which is a date for something. So like the 49ers, 76ers, the 87s, whatever. So I do like it because it's that one team that's going to use that name. New Orleans Pelicans. It is such an odd name, but I love it. It's the state bird, and yeah, it's really good, creative. It makes sense to the city. Definitely better than New Orleans Hornets, although New Orleans Jazz would have been great. But hey, this is, for New Orleans, great. I like it. I love it. It's, I don't know. New Orleans seems kind of like a fun city, I think. Washington Wizards. I like that it's two W's, and it sounds right. It rolls off the tongue, right? Washington Wizards. Is it better than Washington Bullets? I'm not sure. They do use the red, white, and blue Patriot colors, but they don't have like they're not like the Washington Capitals or Nationals or Senators. They're just the Wizards, and they still use the red, white, and blue. So I do like their branding, and I like their name. Orlando Magic. Now, I'm not sure where they got the name from. I personally think of it from Disney World because they're in Orlando. I didn't read up on why they're called the Orlando Magic. I should have, but I didn't. But I take it as Magic Kingdom, Magic's in the air is Disney World, whatever, all that crap. And that's kind of where I get that from. So maybe I'll read up on it, or if you know, let me know in the comments. And that was number 2. So number 1 is Detroit Pistons. Now, this is my list from the beginning. I never changed anything, although I was going to change it at the last minute because I didn't know that Detroit Pistons were originally in Fort Wayne, and they were called the Fort Wayne Pistons. But, and you know me, like with this list, I want the name to make sense with the city when a team relocates, and I prefer they change their name. But at the same time, Detroit Pistons does make sense for the city. And does anybody really remember Fort Wayne's Pistons? I don't know. I didn't. Like, I knew about Lakers. I knew about Clippers and the Grizzlies. So the Pistons was something I just did not even think about. And yeah, I like the name. It sounds right. It rolls off the tongue. It's a horrible team, I know. But I do like their name. I don't like I don't like their logo at all. But a lot of these logos are pretty bad. It's going to be kind of hard to rank NBA logos, to be honest. Well, guys, these are my rankings. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I made it as quick as possible. If you want to see any more content like this, please hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know what's your favorite NBA team name? What's your least favorite? Do you agree with my ranking? Let me know. And if you have any other suggestions, any other sports league that you want me to rank, I know I haven't done the MLB yet. I haven't done any of the logo ranking yet, aside from the PWHL. I do want to do WNBA soon, and also get into some WNBA expansion, because I know Toronto and Portland are getting a WNBA team. So yeah, as always, please like and subscribe, and I hope I get to see you on the next one.